I'd like to thank everyone who's here today. We do have a few more moments, so we can go down the line and people can add a few more thoughts. We have approximately 13 minutes more. I just wanted to say real quick, I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning. My name is Jennifer Hogg. I served in the New York Army National Guard and HHC of the 152nd Engineers out of Buffalo, New York. I also just wanted to add that you can see here that what is official policy isn't always exactly what the reality is. And it's a training ground for all the testimony that you're going to hear this weekend here at Winter Soldier, that policy doesn't always translate into reality. And unfortunately, the training ground that we're talking about on this panel is being carried out on the minds and bodies of our service members, and that's unacceptable. The connections that we're talking about here, go between each of the testimony here. The connections are there. They don't need to be drawn. They just need to have ourselves open our eyes and look at them. Thank you. Okay, so if people just want to go down the line, if you don't have anything, you can just pass it on to the next person.
I got something I forgot to say. This is all so important, not just because what happens to people in the military. It's important. Think about Abu Ghraib. The reason those women and men and teenage boys were treated that way, that's stuff we don't hear about in the media. Who was really at Abu Ghraib? I mean, think about the way sexual objectification can manifest itself. And that's what's happening in Iraq to Iraqis. And it's disgusting. You know, this memo that I read out, it's on the military website right now. I'm looking at it. It says that it expires June 2007. It's got all these weird stamps on it. It's like the most ridiculous document I've ever seen in my life. It means it's like it all absolutely means nothing. Everything that's said in it. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, I have one save round, and I can't let it go. I will hate myself if I do. And I'm not calling my sister out down there, but the point I was trying to make, and I feel like I did a poor job with my testimony because I have so much to say around this issue. But when she started to cry and she said, "I hate to be the girl," that on this panel, that it infuses our thoughts in ways that it just goes unnoticed. That the idea that to shed a tear makes you a girl and that's somehow essentially weak. That one of the great things about being able to be out of the closet to my straight Marine buddies was that, the occupation of Iraq, the idea that, essentially I took the oath for the defense of my nation, so that I have to refuse an illegal order. And it was an illegal order for me to go to Iraq because it's an illegal occupation. That if we can, like the golden rule, if we could put ourselves in those positions, the way that we dehumanize men is to say that they would be like women, so that at the center of homophobia is misogyny, and at the center of war is that whole gender paradigm. And I wish I could articulate it better, but I just wanted to give it one more shot. All right.
I would like to add something. He's totally right. Like I was trying so hard to just not, because you think about this, gender and sexism and stuff, and you're like thinking, women are going to go upstairs and they're going to cry. Well, that's what I was thinking. And then I come up here and I cry. And how freaking ironic, So he's correct in that, I didn't want to come up here and I didn't want to be like all emotional. And I think a lot of times for those that have been harassed and those that have been, verbally abused, it seems to me that the people around us, that's what they use to define us. Like they look at us and they're like, oh, so you're the broken one, huh? You're the one that got assaulted. And I think honestly. I mean, that's a load of you know what. So I don't want to walk out of this panel and have you guys look at me like oh, she's the one. You know what I mean? I don't want that at all. So don't let that define who we are on this panel. It's an experience that happened to us. It's our story, and it's our personal story, and you can't take that away from us. So don't judge us for it. I think that's all.
I just want to say that this whole thing is being recorded, and we all know that yesterday almost the entire panel and audience was in tears when we were looking at those videos. So don't worry about it. You're not the only one.
My name is Joe Wheeler. I served with the 240th Forward Surgical Team in Iraq. We were attached to the 4th Infantry Division during the first year of the occupation of Iraq. And I just want to say thank you to my fellow testifiers here who are on stage with me, but also to all the people that have spoken so far. I think it's easy to underestimate the difficulty of getting up here and exposing yourself to criticism and kind of opening up old wounds. It's been several years since I got back from Iraq. It's still very difficult to talk about. It's not something I enjoy doing, not something I want to do, but I certainly feel a responsibility, not only to those who haven't been in Iraq, but to those who are still there. I felt very frustrated when I was in the Army by my inability to speak out. If I had said what I had on my mind, I would have been court-martialed. And to have this opportunity is not only a privilege, but it's really a wonderful thing, and I'm really glad that I'm shoulder to shoulder with so many incredible people. Thank you.
I would like to add a point dealing with the third unity point of IVAW, which is proper care of our veterans. And unfortunately, because assault of men and women in the armed services, if it gets reported, is rarely ever prosecuted. So men and women who have been assaulted, who've been raped, go to the VA for health care, and nothing related to that trauma can get covered because no charges were ever filed. And that falls right in with our third unity point as IVAW, to make sure we have the proper health care, to make sure we have the proper treatment of our veterans. And that's also going to start with the proper treatment of those still serving. And by getting out of Iraq and stopping the occupation, we're going to stop a lot of the stressors that push people over the edge. It's not going to fix the problem, but it's definitely a step forward. So this panel is extremely important to what we want to do, which is ending the occupation and bringing strength to our veterans and proper health care.
Okay, we're going to end early, which I think is the first. So I do want to acknowledge, lastly, anyone who is either here or not here who did want to be on the panel but does not either feel comfortable or ready due to legal repercussions or intimidation that they feel due to the system of the VA or the system of being looked at, as Wendy said, as being broken. So I definitely want to honor those men and women, whose stories you didn't hear today but are screaming at us every day. Thank you.